This meeting is being recorded.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Barry Cowan. I'm the president of the Deerfield Beach Computer Club since August of 2005. Want to welcome you all here to today's Zoom presentation. It's Friday, January 17th, 2025, and I wish all of you a happy, healthy, prosperous new year. And things are really going very fast. Um, We've already had the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, which was okay, but it really wasn't exciting to me to see it or watch it. Actually, at least they have people showing up at the events live. Apple wasn't there, believe it or not, but they had a whole bunch of stuff to display, and they had some assistive technology and this and that. But that's just how things are. Everything is so dynamic. What I just said will probably change now in the next couple of minutes. So it's just no way of keeping in touch with you got to update yourself. You got to be your own AI judge. I'm laying back right here on my couch and let AI take over. So let's see. Okay, now let me tell you about today's special guests who really need no introduction, so I'm not going to give it to him. No. Jim and Chris Gould are among the most popular in the country, if not in the world. They've been everywhere, done everything, and I understand they're going to be moving into a boat soon. And that's going to be a really interesting challenge. And I want to wish Chris all the best and Jim in your upcoming ventures. I know you're going to be extremely successful no matter where you are, and we'll keep going. So today they have a very special presentation that we call a 2025 Hodgepodge of tips and tricks. There it is. So take it away, guys.
Okay. Well, thank you for that introduction. We'll have to take you around with us to let people know how popular we are all the way around the world. Thank you. And today we do have a real hodgepodge. Barry just said we like hodgepodge, so I have a real variety. But any questions?
We have the chat.
Yeah, just put them in the chat, whether they're about something I talked about or not. We'll see if we can do it. Now, we have been guests here at the Deerfield Beach Computer Club many times in the past, but just in case there's somebody there who doesn't know us, I need to say a few words about who we are. Geeks on Tour. It's just Jim and me.
I'm Jim.
I'm Chris. We are not the Geek Squad.
I will not fix your computers.
We specialize in teaching, but we've been doing that since the early 80s. And we are still passionate about it. We haven't gotten tired of technology. So we keep up with the current crop of smartphones and a little bit on AI. And we call ourselves Geeks on Tour because we travel a lot. For 14 years, we lived in an RV and traveled all around the country. Come this summer, we are going to get on a cruise ship and travel around the world for maybe the next 14 years. So Geeks on Tour, and that is our website, geeksontour.com. It is a library of learning materials that we've been adding there for about 15 years. There's hundreds of articles, hundreds of videos, hundreds of live YouTube shows. So I've taken to picking out the best and putting them in an area on the website called Top Tips. Those are for members only. Most of our stuff is all free, but if you want the best stuff, you become a member for about $60 a year. And we'll be showing you some of that. Today's class, I have a PowerPoint, and when Barry gets it up on YouTube, I'll put a link to that on a page called classes, and I want to show you that. So if you go to geeksontour.com and this this is what you'll see. This is our home page. If you scroll down a bit, you'll see classes. Click there. That's what we call this. When we give a presentation to a group, we call it a class. And they are in date order. So January 17, Deerfield Beach Hodgepodge. Notice that November 15, we did a Deerfield Beach Hodgepodge. And if you keep going back, you will see another one, Deerfield Beach Hodgepodge, right there. You click on it and you will see the slideshow that we are going through right now. And as I say, I will include the link to the YouTube too. Now, this is free for the first couple weeks, and then I put it behind our membership paywall as well. All right. So you can review this class anytime for the next couple weeks or forever if you're a member. So when I say hodgepodge, like I say, today I really mean it. We're going to show you a new iPhone tool. How many of you have iPhones? Just raise your hand. Oh, okay, good, good. So this will be of, and I assume the rest, a few are Android. I have both, so I teach both. I want to show you something about taking pictures with your phone, how to pick your lens, making a custom map. I hear that we have some other world travelers in the group. Travelers love maps. I want to show you how to make your own. And then some basic phone tips like force quitting misbehaving apps or rebooting your phone. And then my current favorite AI tool is called Notebook LM, and I want to show you just a little about that. And then I have to show you something on Google Photos. And I have a couple other optional tips up my sleeve here too, if we get through all this in record time. And yes, go ahead if you have any questions, put them in the chat. Or if it's immediate, if you have a question about what I just said, you can raise your hand or just shout out. Well, I love questions.
Remember to unmute.
Yeah. All right. So if you use Google Photos, you probably already know about the feature called Magic Eraser, one of my favorites and a lot of people's favorites, but you couldn't do it without the Google Photos app if you have an iPhone. Till now, the Apple Photos app now has something called Cleanup, and that will erase unwanted objects from your photo. Really cool. I still think Magic Eraser on Google Photos does it better, but this is pretty good. You have to have a really new iPhone. The 15 Pro, is it, or 15 Plus? And it must be running iOS 18.2. My iPhone is a 14 Pro, so it doesn't have it. But my iPad is new, and it is running iOS 18.2, so I can show you this feature using my iPad. And what I'm talking about is this. Yeah, can you zoom in on that a little bit? There we go. Yeah. Is this icon right here? That I call that Apple Photos. That's the photo management tool that comes with your iPhone, not the Google Photos. So Apple Photos. And here is the picture that I say, I love this picture, but I don't like having those people in the background. On the iPhone or iPad, the edit button is this one that looks like a set of sliders. You tap that. Now you have a new tool over here on the left called Cleanup. tap on cleanup, and it will investigate the picture. And look at that. It highlights and it says, I'll bet you want these people gone. All you have to do then, and it tells you here, tap, brush, or circle what you want to remove. Pinch to pan and zoom. So I can just tap on him, he's gone. Tap on her, she's gone. Isn't that wonderful? Like I said, I still think Google Photos and the Magic Eraser is better, but that's pretty cool. I'm going to cancel that so that I can do it again later and show you another example. So this picture, I love having this picture of our friends in the Bahamas, but this big ugly board in the middle. I can edit, clean up. Now, it doesn't suggest this one, so I have to rub. And notice I do not have to be exact. I can just say, here, get rid of that. Boom, it's gone. Pretty cool. Cancel and discard changes. And then the last one, and this is where I say Google Photos Magic Eraser is better. I use this example in Google Photos, and as soon as I tap Magic Eraser, it highlights all those wires. Now,
And the cars.
the Magic Eraser does. The Google Photos does. The Apple one does not. It highlights the cars. I don't care about the cars. I want to get rid of the telephone pole. And it'll do it, but I have to do a lot. I call this work in order to get rid of the wires using this tool. All right. So that is our first hodgepodge tip. And I see a question, what happened to Picasa? Picasa died in 2015. That's 10 years ago. Now, if, as Barry was, you're still using a computer from years ago and you had Picasa on it, it still works to edit photos, but it never worked after 2015 to upload or download to have any connectivity to the web. It's strictly but no, Picasa is dead. Sorry.
Thanks for making me feel great, Chris.
Hey, others beat me to it. I heard them. Okay. Then I just have to throw in one little camera tip because it surprises me that a lot of people don't know this. You know, when you want to zoom in on something and you're in the camera and you take your two fingers and you pinch and zoom in order to zoom in. Well, there's a better way. At least there's a better way to get started. These numbers down at the bottom represent the different lenses. So this phone has 3 different lenses. And I can pick them. It starts off on 1x. So that's just the standard normal camera lens. The 0.5 means it's going into wide angle, which I think I've used the wide angle even more than I use the telephoto. Or 2 means it zooms into 2 times normal, or 3, it zooms into 3 times normal. Now you can still pinch and zoom from here, but by tapping on the numbers rather than dragging your fingers, you are specifying what lens to use. So you're using the best lens for that magnification. And that's my iPhone. This is my iPhone 14 Pro. On my Samsung, I have even more options. So I go into camera, I make sure that I'm on photo, and I have 0.6, so that's telephoto. 1 is normal. 3, it'll zoom into 3 times, or 10. So let me show you what that looks like at. So I was just standing in front of a tree. At 1x, at the normal lens, I get the whole tree and some of the sky. At 3x, I'm just getting the top branches and the flowers. And at 10x, I'm getting the flower at the top. But notice it's still a good quality. That's because I've chosen the right lens for it rather than just zooming. All right. So that's almost it for cameras and photos. I do have one more at the end.
Clean up turned unwanted items to pixelated.
Clean up turned unwanted item. Well, then you still have to tap on it. Did you get them? Did you get them gone? It oh. So you're saying you tapped on them and they disappeared, but what it filled it in with was a little bit pixelated.
That's what I think.
Okay. Yeah, well, so it's not perfect. It does the best it can.
It does great on smaller areas.
Smaller things, yeah, like and
Wires.
things that it sees itself. Like when I took those 2 people out of the background, it did a really good job on that. When I selected the whole bar in the middle, yes, there were some pixelated remains on there. And once again, I think the Google Photos tool does a better job. But it's cool that that's come to the iPhone. All right, custom map. If you are a traveler, you like maps. And isn't it nice to know that you can make your own map? I heard somebody who's traveling to Italy and beyond. Wouldn't it be nice when you got back to be able to show people exactly where you went by markers on a map? We do that for all sorts of travels, and it will look something like this. We are now getting ready to live on a ship. And so that's the example I'm going to show you. What you do, and this is completely free from Google. It's called My Maps, mymaps.google.com. So mymaps.google.com. And I have dozens and dozens of maps. So when I go here and I'm signed in to my Google account, you see my little face in the upper right-hand corner. When I'm signed in to my Google account, I see all of the maps I've made. If I want to make a new one, I just click Create a New Map and create. And you'll notice that the base map is there. This comes from Google Maps. But now it's up to you to put the markers that you want on your custom map. So, for example, we are going to board our ship. It's called the Villa V Odyssey. It's a residential cruise ship, and we are going to get on board when it's in San Francisco. So I am going here, I'll call this map. I click on the title and call it Villa the Odyssey with Geeks. My first marker needs to go at San Francisco. So I click up in the search bar and search for San Francisco. Now I can zoom in and get exactly where I think it's going to be, somewhere down on the wharf. I'm going to say about right there. And I put a marker. Click the marker, click where I want it, say boarding on June, I don't know, 22 or something like that. And I save that marker. Now, the next stop after we board, the next stop is Seattle, right?
Mhm.
I think. So I'll search for Seattle. And once again, I'll zoom in and see where the cruise ship port is. Well, it's here somewhere, but I just click a marker, click where I say we're going to be, and Seattle, June, or we'll press probably July by here. Let's say that's at July 1. So you get the idea. Let me do one more. The next one we're going to is Victoria, BC, Canada. And I will zoom in and put a marker here somewhere. Victoria, July 6. So this ship, we're getting on this ship in San Francisco, and then we are hoping to stay for at least 3 years, if not 7 or 15. That's a lot of stops. Guess what? The ship has an itinerary. He's trying to get us, so looks like we got a little blurry here.
Oops.
Sometimes I feel a little blurry. That's okay. So the ship has a spreadsheet of all the itinerary stops for the next 3 years. It goes around the world in 3 years. So let me show you how I would go get that. I would add a layer. So here I am on the map that I started putting my own markers on. I click add a layer and then import. So this itinerary is on a spreadsheet, and I have that spreadsheet in my Google Drive. And it is right here from 2024 through 2027 Villa V itinerary. It's a spreadsheet that just has 3 columns: date, port, and country. I open that up and it asks me, which of these columns do I need to place the marker? Well, for that, you need port and country. Then what do you want to identify the marker with? I want date. And finish. And sit back and wait a minute. Look at that. Just like that. It has made a marker for all, I don't know, several hundred stops that we're going to be doing in the next few years. We're starting in San Francisco, going up to Alaska, down the Aleutian chain, over to Japan, down to the Philippines, and this time next year, we will be in the South Pacific. Then we go around Australia and up into India. Ha, can you tell I'm excited? Are you excited?
I'm very excited, yeah.
Now, but it doesn't have to be about travels. It certainly doesn't have to be about a cruise ship itinerary. Let me show you. On our blog, I've been making a map every year of our travels. It's just called Our Maps. And, I can go back. I say, when were we out on the West Coast last? Boy, it's been a while. I can find that one was just a flight, so we weren't actually there. Here we go. So the last time we were really out on the West Coast was 2014. And it's just so easy for me to find. But you could make a map. Let's say that you often have friends coming into town and they want to know your favorite restaurants. You could make a map just of your favorite restaurants in your city. and share it with them, and they know where all your favorite restaurants are. Or, for example, while we were RVers, we made a point to go to every presidential museum in the country. So I have one map that just shows the presidential museums. Steve asked, what does that voyage cost? Well, we buy the cabin, and they range in price from 100,000 to probably 1 million or 3/4. Ours was towards the lower level. And then it's for us, it depends on, there's lots of choices, and you can go to Villavie Odyssey,
Or Village
VillaVieResidences.com. Yeah. We did a whole show on this. We talk about the pricing and all, but we're paying $5,000 a month. That includes, for both of us, all our food, all our utilities, all our internet, all our travel. We think it's a great deal.
What ship is it?
The
What ship?
Villavie Odyssey.
Okay.
Yeah. Here, if you go to VillaVieResidences.com. That's it. That's the ship. It only holds what, 650
Something like that. Yeah.
passengers. So it's not one of these huge mega cruise ships. And the people who are on board live there. So it has a totally different feel. And you can see all the pricing on the website. All right. Or watch our episode, what was it?
292.
90? 292 of our YouTube show. Oh, okay. You put that link in there. All right. So that's a custom map. You can either place markers yourself, or if you have a list of places somewhere, you can import. Switch gears again. Just some basic phone tips. Force quit a misbehaving app. Let's just play video 738. Okay, so there's two more on the basic smartphone tips, the reboot and the force quitting apps. And they kind of go together. So let's see, I'm going to start with my Samsung, my Android phone. And first, I just want to show you my recently used apps. That's this three dash button down on the very bottom left. When you tap that, you see all of the apps that you have recently opened. Now, some people think that it's important to do a close all to clean this up. It is not. And people have gotten into fights over this, but I've done a lot of research, and it's not like a computer. These aren't taking up processing power. They're just placeholders. So actually, if you close all the time, you're slowing down your phone because it doesn't have the shortcut placeholders available. That said, there are some reasons to use this. But first, I want to show you rebooting. I'm going to hold down on the power button, also known as the side key, and I'm going to choose restart. So that is rebooting my phone. So it's in process. So on the Android phone, there is that restart option. It shuts down and comes back all on its own. But what I want you to see is that my most recently used apps are all still there. So reboot did not clean them off. Why? Because it doesn't need to. It's not a good idea to clean those off. Now, if you're just, if you're one of those that always likes to have a completely clean, neat desk, then okay, I understand. It doesn't really hurt much, but
it does slow you down.
I wanted to give an example of when because this happened just a couple days ago. We were traveling and I needed to use my Android Samsung as a hotspot. And it wasn't working. I mean, the hotspot would turn on. I could connect my computer to the hotspot that my phone was being, but after a couple of minutes, it would drop it. It just wouldn't stay.
Reboot.
It
really does
And
solve a lot of problems.
It did fix it. The hotspot worked after that.
Yeah.
But if you're just having problems, for example, with Google Photos, let's say you start to scroll through Google Photos and you go to library and nothing shows up and nothing does, and you tap on something and it doesn't work. You could reboot the phone, but if the only thing you're having a problem with is Google Photos, then you just want to reboot Google Photos. And that is what the multitasking is for. I would tap on the 3 lines that brings up recently used apps, and I would swipe Google Photos off. That means when I reopen it, it's not starting from that placeholder. It's starting fresh, and it usually fixes those problems. So that was on the Android. Same thing on iOS. I'm going to use my, what is this?
That's an iPad.
That's an iPad. Because it can work if you have a newer iPhone that doesn't have a button. You need to know how to get to your multitasking. And you do that by swiping up from the bottom and then letting go right at the middle. Now I'm on the multitasking. As opposed to just swiping up, now I'm at home. So swipe up, kind of hold for a second in the middle and let go. Now you can find your misbehaving app and force quit it. That's what that's called. And on the iOS devices, you hold down on the power button until you see slide to power off. And you do have to power off and then count to 10, hold down on the power button to turn it back on again.
Yeah.
So I think I saw a couple quizzical expressions in the audience there when I said it is not good to clear all those apps off. If you're in that habit, it's no big deal, but you really, really, really don't. You are hurting yourself a little bit by doing that. One other thing that has changed since that video, I said that on the iPhone, you just hold down the power button. No, now you have to hold down the power button and one of the volume buttons in order to get it to show that swipe to power off. And if the buttons elude you, there is another way on the iPhone. If you go into your settings and general, then at the bottom, there is shut down. So if touching the screen is easier for you than holding down this combination of buttons, then settings, general, and shut down all the way at the bottom. It really does work though. And for things that you might not think of, I keep my iPhone on a wireless charger. So and one morning I picked it up and it was not charged. I thought, oh no, do I need a new charger or do I need a new phone?
Need a new phone.
Before getting either of those, try restarting, shut down, and restart your phone. Then the charging worked. Who knows? But it's always a good idea. Try reboot before anything else more drastic. All right. I told you I had a favorite AI tool these days. And the reason is because it's a bit different than an AI chatbot. This Notebook LM, it's by Google. It's free. You just go to notebooklm.google.com. And it's called Notebook because that's what it does. You make notebooks of information that you gather. It doesn't answer your questions by looking out for the whole internet and everything that it's been trained on. You gather the sources that you want it to use. They're called sources. They can be PDF files, docs, websites, videos, audio files, or just copy and pasted text. You can feed, I call it, you can feed Notebook LM those things. Then you can ask questions and it will answer you just based on the sources that you put in. So I'm going to show you an example. I just go to notebooklm.google.com. And as I say, it's free. I've made several notebooks now, and this is the one I want to work with called travel health insurance. You know, this is one of the things we need to figure out before we start living on a ship traveling around the world. What kind of health insurance will we need? So I've done a bunch of research and found this IPMI. I forget what it stands for. International Personal Medical Insurance. There we go. And notice this is a PDF that is all about international personal medical insurance. Then I found a website for international health insurance, another one for a health insurance called Safety Wing, and one called World Expat Health Insurance. Now let me show you how I fed that in. You click Add Source. Now, we belong to an association called FMCA that had to do with RVing. But one of the things that it has as a benefit of being a member, it has some health insurance. Ugh. FMCA. FMCA insurance summary. I've been playing with this. And so I found the page. Here is FMCA and member benefits. And here is a description of the benefit for international or for medical insurance, group accident coverage. And this goes on and on. I don't want to read through it all. I just want to feed it into my notebook of Notebook LM, and then I can ask questions. So I'm going to copy this URL. I'm going to go back to my Notebook LM, add a source, and give it a link. Now, if this PDF was on my computer, then I could upload it, but I have a link. So I click website and paste the link in. Now that is one of my sources. And I can ask questions. So based on all these sources, I'm going to ask Notebook LM, which plans include evacuation. Which plans include evacuation? Let's see what it says. Meaning when you have an accident and you need to get evacuated to a hospital. So it's looking through just my sources. It's not looking through the entire internet. And it says, both the Dan Dive Accident Insurance Master Plan and the Geo Blue include an evacuation benefit. Now also, look at this, these little numbers, that will take me straight to the source where it got this answer. The FMCA plan includes an emergency medical evacuation with a maximum of 500,000. Benefits will not be payable, blah, blah, blah. So look at this. I did not have to read through all the hundreds of pages of this. I could just feed them to Notebook LM and then read the answer. It gets even better. Now, I don't want to remember what the question was that I typed. So I have it here. I want it to make me a table. So I write, this is just in the question. I'm asking it a question. The question is, please make a table where the rows are the different benefits offered by the insurance policies and the columns are the policy names. Put a check mark in the policy comment columns for every benefit they offer. Can you imagine how much work this would be for you to do on your own? To read through all of that, to make a table, to decide where the check marks go. And that was what, 10 seconds? And here is my table. Benefit, accident medical expenses, Dan, FMCA, Safety Wing, and Geo Blue all offer it. And here is the reference to look at the original. I'm just getting started with Notebook LM, but I am so impressed with what it can do for me. And just in case you haven't used any AI at all, I want to just mention, I'm sure you've heard of ChatGPT. Maybe you've heard of Google's Gemini. Maybe you've heard of Microsoft's Copilot. These are chatbots, meaning you just bring them up and you ask a question, and you have no idea where they're getting the answer from. And sometimes they're not. They're making it up. With Notebook LM, you know where it's getting the answer from. And just a fun thing, when you use a AI to make drawings, it's a dead giveaway that a drawing was made by AI if the hands are wrong. So just take a look at, oops, where'd I go?
Chris,
Yeah.
how is your privacy maintained in this?
Yeah, good question. I have read, I can't vouch for, Notebook LM does not use it is completely private. What you put in there is not used for it to train anything else, and what you ask it is not stored and not shared anywhere. Just like Google Photos is for your eyes only, Notebook LM is for your eyes only. Now, I am absolutely not an expert on this, and privacy is a huge issue. So yeah, that could be a whole class in itself. But notice this lower left guy here. How many hands does he have? That is a dead giveaway that this was made by AI. The other ones are a little more difficult. This guy has 4 fingers on his fist, plus a pointer finger, plus his thumb. Dead giveaway made by AI. So just a fun fact. Any other questions? Or does anybody, is Bob still here? Does he want to respond to the privacy issue? He's
No,
our
Bob,
privacy. No?
yeah, Bob had to leave
Oh, okay.
a family issue.
Mm-hmm.
And or has anybody there actually used Notebook LM? Had anybody heard of Notebook LM before?
Yeah.
It is a different kind of AI that I think is really, really, really useful.
Are we going to play it? The Notebook?
Oh,
Oh,
and so, okay.
And by the way,
I need to find, oh, one of the most fun things it does is talk about it. Yeah. So it has the left-hand column here is all your sources. The middle column is the summaries and where you can ask it questions. The right-hand column has some really special stuff that it will read all this and then talk to you. So listen to this for just a couple minutes.
We're diving into some sources you handpicked, focusing on, well, travel and international health insurance.
Excellent choices.
Yeah, we've got the Dan Ufik Master Handbook.
The IPMI ebook.
That's International Private Medical Insurance, by the way. And we even get to peek at Florida Blues international stuff.
Sounds like we're covering all the bases.
So by the end of this deep dive, you'll have a way better idea of your options.
And you'll be armed with the right questions to ask.
Exactly. You might even stumble on a few surprises along the way.
Always fun.
Okay, let's start with that Dan Handbook. It's like the Bible for divers, totally focused on safety and well-being, which, super important when you're underwater.
Right off the bat, that emergency hotline jumps out at me. You can collect from anywhere in the world.
Seriously.
Yeah, no worrying about phone cards or international rates when every second counts.
That's a game changer.
Totally. But they also stress calling local EMS first in a life or death.
So what you were listening to there are two AI voices talking about the sources that I put in there. So I am researching international medical insurance. I could play that if there's a half hour of it. I could play that while I'm driving in the car and really start learning about all the options for international health insurance.
amazing.
It is so amazing. I wish they wouldn't say totally so much, but I mean, the voices sound kind of valley girlish.
Millennials, yes.
does it also give you a transcript?
Yes. It also gives you a transcript.
Yeah.
Question, Steve?
It's impressive. It really is. Okay, next.
I think, was there a question?
Yeah, Steve, you had a question?
Is it on phones also?
Yeah, I think so.
You see this?
Yeah, there's Notebook LM on iPhones. It's a website. It's a website. So sure, you just go to your browser and go to Notebook LM. Is it an app? I'm not sure. I have only used it as a website. I'm not sure if there is an app on anything.
On anything.
I mean, it might be. I'd have to look that
Yeah.
up. Okay.
All right.
And
Keep
all
going.
right. Yeah. Back to photos, my favorite topic. And this is, yeah, we have till 11, right?
11:15 if you like, 11:10.
11:15 if I like. Okay. So this is the last one, I do believe.
I know you love to talk, so I've been warned.
Yeah, don't give me unlimited time. I'll take it all. Have you ever been looking for a photo from your past and the only thing you remember about it is where you took it? You don't know when, you don't know the name of it. So video 886. Here is how you can use Google Photos to find it.
I think it's just great to be able to see where a photo was taken. Google Photos makes this really easy. I'm Chris Gould with Geeks on Tour, and I'm going to show you how. In Google Photos, there's two ways to get to the map view. One is just to open up any photo, swipe up, and you should see a map of where that photo was taken. If you tap on the map, now you're in the map view, and you can pinch and zoom in the map view, and every place that you see the little colored heat map is where there are photos. And at the bottom of the screen, you can scroll through and they're in date order. So you see location on the top and dates on the bottom. Pretty handy. The second way of getting to the map view in Google Photos is from the menu. So I'm just back out at main Google Photos. And if you tap on collections, there is a section for places. Tap on places, and the first block is the map. Tap on the map, and now you can scroll around to anywhere you want to see and see what photos are there. They show up on the bottom. And if you want to see more photos or more map, you can adjust here. What if you don't see any photo locations? Well, maybe your camera on your phone is not set to record the location where you took it. Let me show you where that is. First, on Android. On Android, you have to open the camera app and then tap the little gear for settings and look for, in my case, this is a Samsung and the setting is called location tags. You want that on. Some might call it geotags. Just find the setting in the camera. On the iPhone, the setting for recording the location of a photo is in your main system settings. And then it's under privacy. And location services, and that must be on, but that's not all. You have to scroll down until you see camera and make sure that it's set to while using the app. From now on, your camera will stamp your photo with the location and you'll be able to see it on a map using Google Photos. Cool stuff.
All right.
And I use that map view
All the time.
for bragging rights
Yeah.
because we have these color spots
All over the world.
almost solid throughout the United States and then a smattering all over the world. Just wait until after we've been on this ship for a couple of years.
Yeah, wait.
What will our map look like then?
Okay, did you learn something? This is the important part. We're going to ask you some questions.
And then we'll open it up to your questions.
And I have a question from Steve, too. So, first, me. The iPhone now has a similar feature to Google Photos Magic Eraser. To use it, you must have A, iPhone 10 Plus, B, iPhone 14 Plus, or C, iPhone 15 Pro.
And up. Yes, the answer is C. You must have one of the new ones that has the Apple Intelligence. I think that's the...
Okay, to make your own custom app, use Google's free A, cartography app, B, My Map, or C, maps.me.
My Map. B, mymap.google.com. mymaps.google.com.
To force quit an app, you must be in what view? A, restart, B, all apps, or C, multitasking?
C, it's called the multitasking view, or it's called recent apps too. Some places you'll see it called multitasking, sometimes you'll see it called recent apps, but it shows you all those little squares.
Right. True or false, there's only one way to restart a phone.
Nope. You can do it with buttons or you can do it in settings.
Very cool. True or false, Notebook LM is just another AI chatbot.
It's, I think, much better. It's different.
Okay, to see a map view of photos in Google Photos, you must use A, computer, or B, mobile device.
That map is only available on the mobile devices, your phone or tablet. We're using the Google Photos app, but It must be on a mobile
device.
device.
And that's a security thing. That's why they did that.
Hmm.
Okay, to review these slides and videos, we have a web page on our website, geeksontour.com, classes. And you can find the classes for this class. I don't know why you have Laguna Woods there, but
Uh-oh. I didn't change the
we invite
slide.
you to sign up for our free newsletters. You can scan that QR code, or you can go to geeksontour.com/news. That's free, and you'll get some information about that. You need to change the date on that one too.
2025.
Guess what?
Okay,
That's okay?
that's all. We can go to their questions now.
Okay, somebody asked when I crop both top and bottom move simultaneously. That's on a phone.
I assume you're talking about the iPhone, since that's what the editing I was showing. So what Steve is saying is when he taps crop and he tries to just crop in the side, or let's say he wanted to crop out those people, it's not letting him. It's doing both at a time. That means you have your aspect ratio locked. You see that little lock right there? To unlock it, you tap the three dots in the top right, unlock aspect ratio. Now you can just drag aside and it doesn't affect the other dimension.
Okay. Somebody else here. Do you keep all of your photos on your iPhone?
Well, no. I mean, I keep all of my photos in Google Photos, which is in the cloud. I can see them all on my phone, but they're not taking up space on my phone. Now, with Apple and iCloud, if you are using Apple's cloud, called iCloud, it synchronizes. So all of the photos that are in iCloud, of necessity, just because of how Apple works, are also on your phone,
Taking up space.
taking up space. Now, there is a setting to make them take up a lot less space, and that's good. So they're not really taking up full space on your phone. But so there's the answer. I have 106,000 photos in my Google Photos cloud. When I get a new phone, that phone will have no photos on it, but using Google Photos, I will be able to see that 106,000 photos.
Okay.
But
There's another question. Or no, how do you get them to take up less space?
okay, I can show you that. We're talking on the iPhone, so that you have all of your photos, your original size photos, in Apple's cloud, iCloud, but a lesser size on your phone. Settings and photos. Come on. These things are so touchy. Photos, where things? Oh, apps. They keep changing these things. They keep moving my cheese. Apps, and I'm looking for photos.
It's under F.
It's under P.
Use a search. Use a search.
Yeah, very, very good. Well, I was almost there,
You
but
were
yes,
there.
photos is a good way to do it. And I'm looking at Apple Photos. Optimize iPhone storage. That's what you want checked. If that is unchecked, if you have iCloud Photos on and optimize photo storage unchecked, then your photos are taking up full size space on your phone.
Okay, and Steve uses Flickr to store all his photos.
Okay, same idea.
Yeah.
You can then delete them from your phone, right, Steve? And you can see them using the Flickr app.
Right. We like Google
That's
Photos.
correct.
Okay. I guess that's it. I'm going to stop the share.
Wait, yep, okay. Great job. Let's give them all a sitting ovation. Here we go. Um,
You.
I have a
Thank you.
question. Oh, go ahead, Linda. Unmute yourself.
Okay, I didn't have a question, but since you said so, I'll go ahead and ask one. I used to use Google Photos, but I was paying for so much because I've got thousands like you of pictures. I was paying a lot to have all my Google stuff done. So I turned my Google Photo off because it was just taking, I thought, too much in the cloud. Is that true?
I don't think it's too much, but I pay $20 a month, and that gives me the premium AI and 2 terabytes of, I'm only using a tiny bit of what I'm paying for. Up until now, I was paying $20 a year, and that held 100,000.
Yeah.
But I was getting close to the limit. Well, but what are you doing now? iPhone, iCloud is as expensive, if not more. I mean, don't
I'm
tell
an
me that you
Android.
only have your photos on your phone and nowhere else.
Yeah, I'm Android, and I think I'm paying 29 a year for my Google junk. So
Well, then you should have 2 terabytes of storage, and that's
Check in your
yeah, here. So where you look, I'll look on my Android, my Samsung, and I go into Google Photos and I tap on my account button. That's the round one in the top right. And it says account storage. See that little blue? That little blue mark is how much I'm using, and the gray line is how much I have. I'm
okay.
using 120 gigabytes of 2 terabytes, 2000, and I am paying $20 a month for that.
Yeah,
Actually, I think I'm paying 19. And I share that with Jim. So basically, we're both paying $10 a month. I I think that's well worth the peace of mind and the ability. I can show you any picture of my life, just like that.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, you do have to pay for storage, but you have to pay somebody.
Irving,
yeah.
you had your hand raised?
Yes, I did. Earlier in the chat, I asked a question about cache on iPhones.
Yeah. So it sounds like maybe you're accustomed to Android where you can go into an app and clear the cache. On
Uh,
iPhone, you can't do that.
oh, that's not a feature that's available then.
Correct. If
Okay, thank you
so,
very much.
there are some, or at least last I knew, they keep changing things, but last I knew, if you wanted to clear the cache on an app on the iPhone, you had to uninstall the app and then reinstall it.
Okay.
And that's fine. I mean, if you were having problems with Google Photos, for example, on an Android, I would tell you to clear the cache. On an iPhone, I would tell you to uninstall the app and reinstall it. It does not affect your photos. It just starts the app from fresh.
Okay.
Okay.
Dorothy, you had your hand raised?
Yes, I just wanted to know if they're going to teach on the cruise.
I hope so.
Okay.
It's nothing that is, set up yet,
they're
but
not going to pay us.
yeah,
So it'll be
but,
Well,
just
but
but
neither,
that would be
yeah.
fun for you.
Now, you and Linda are all world travelers. How are you going to deal with the connections issue as you go from place to place?
we have Starlink satellite on board, and it's pretty robust. They have several receivers, and I think like 8 or 9 dishes. So yeah, that should work. We're gonna have to deal with some cellular issues when we're in ports if we're in town somewhere, we're going to have to, or we're going to want some kind of data or voice text. But you can get eSIMs, you can get all kinds of plans. My Google Fi plan that I've been using all of this time in all of our travels and has worked wonderfully only works for 90 days when we're out of the country. We've not been out of the country for 90 days since I've had this. So
But we will be
we
now.
will be now. So once we leave Alaska, we won't be back in the United States for a year.
Wow.
That's longer than 90 days.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah.
What did you do, Linda, when you were traveling?
Oh, for me, I had mine on airplane mode, and but I was getting text messages. When I was in the Caribbean over the
Yeah.
holiday, I was getting text messages, and AT&T used to not allow airplane mode and text messages,
They're
but they were
changing it
coming
all the
through.
time. They really are. And yeah, we were getting some text messages while we were in airplane mode when we were doing, putting your phone into airplane mode is supposed to turn off the radios, but the phone can selectively turn itself on for different things. It's, you know, that's you and the phone company own that phone. You don't own it.
Yep.
Okay. It's collaboration between you and everyone else.
Okay, we'll take another question if anybody has one. Okay, Jim and Chris, thank you so much for coming, and stay safe and well. I'll be keeping in touch with you as time goes by, okay? You still
Thanks
got
for
till
asking.
June. You got till June to move, right?
Right.
We got a lot before then.
We got a lot to do.
She gets a new knee next Thursday. That's the big.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Can't knock that. Okay.
let's see.
Bye-bye.
Take
WhatsApp
care.
works well. Thanks.
Oh yeah,
Steve.
WhatsApp is great.
Yeah,
Right.
WhatsApp.
Oh, by the way, tell them how much it costs to join the Geeks on Tour.
Okay. Join Geeks on Tour is $58 on a recurring membership. That's
$58 a year.
a year. Or we have a 1 year. It does not recur, and that's on $68. And you can use Stripe or PayPal.
And that not only lets you
It's worth
get
it.
regular meetings, but also
Cheap.
the after meeting that they have, a special
Yeah,
meeting.
we have
Just-
private Zoom meetings with just our members.
A lot of member benefits. So if you're interested, come on over and do it. But thanks for coming. Thanks for
Thank
watching.
you.
We're gonna leave now.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Okay, thank you.
Well, folks, I hope this has been very educational and informative to you. The Geeks on Tour always are.
Yeah.
Wish I had more people here, but it is what it is. And the late Dino Negro used to say, it's quality, not quantity, that counts. And you're all quality people, and I give you so much credit for keeping me going. I don't know how long this club can keep going if we don't get the other things that we need. I don't want to mention them on the air, but we would appreciate anything that you can do to help us keep going. Helen, I'm sorry you weren't able to get on. For some reason, your speakers are not working, or your microphone's not working. Hopefully you can get that corrected the next time. So this video should be up and running over the weekend, and I want to thank you all for attending. Stay safe, stay well, and wave goodbye. Oh, the next meeting will be Valentine's Day, scheduled for February 14th, 2025. We'll see. Bye now.